Hey there, Antioch. It's so nice to see you virtually. Um, I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that you are the place that where my faith began, in the shelter. And I'm so grateful for you, Caleb, that you keep so faithful to that which that you've called, to that which that you've been given. And I thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you, Barbara and Stephen, for the foundations that you laid in us. That has helped us very much. So, I just wanted to give you a quick update about what has been going on over here, a little bit from my side. My husband has been telling me that I should also show my face and do a video. So here's a video. We are in the Corona season, much like you. Things are how they are. But today I really want to share with you what God has been doing in our lives. And I want to tell you at first that that Ricky and I are growing to not be happy about suffering, but rather we're sick of it, but we're excited when we see it, when we face it, when we feel it's coming, you know. And I'm gonna qualify that because the past seasons, the past few months have been kind of tough on us, just from the family front. There have been so many changes when you have two kids in the 2 years old range. It's just a little bit crazy. It's a phase where I have learned just to be content with every little moment I get to be with God, and every little sentence I get to finish with Ricky. And it has made me a much more thankful person. And in those moments where I tend towards getting more bitter, or I tend towards getting more, just cynical, like the good times are never gonna come, or we're never gonna have time, or whatever, I realize that God is doing something inside of me, and I feel it, and we feel it as a family. We feel that this is a next level, and a lot of it ties to the fact that the church that we have been serving has now asked us to be a part of their worship community. And I just want to talk you through this meeting, because for me, this meeting is the first step of realization of a promise and dream that God gave us 5 years ago. So anyways, we go into this meeting, and every year, at the end of every year, there is a meeting to see where you stand. Are you happy with where you are right now in the given tasks that you have? Do you feel like you're positioned there where God is currently positioning you? So it's basically kind of a feedback talk. And we both went together, and in my head I'm thinking we're fired. I just think that automatically, because I don't know. But no, all is well. And so we went there, we were talking, and the some part they talk about strengths and what they think are our strengths. And they were talking to Ricky, and Ricky finished, and then they came over to me, and they said, Praveena, the very first time we met you, I knew that there was something different about you, also about Ricky. They talk about us all the time as a unit, probably because we also work together a lot in the beginning. And but now I think I can concretely say what it is, and I think you just carry the person of who the Holy Spirit is. Maybe to you, in your eyes, where you are right now, this does not feel like a huge thing, but this is dry land. This is a land where when worship begins after 2.5 songs, somebody comes up and says, hey, you can take a seat, and now we're gonna take up offering. This is the land where when the Holy Spirit starts to move, the people do not have the vocabulary or the knowledge that they can dive deeper. This is land where people pray to ask God for things, but they don't pray to encounter Him. And obviously I'm generalizing at this point. There are a handful of people who definitely understand completely my heart, our heart, but the majority, it's dry land. So when she said that to me, I couldn't say anything. I was just looking at her, and I was asking the Holy Spirit, I do not deserve this word. I mean, I am not you. I'm not so great and everything. And He just whispered in my ear that His grace was sufficient for me. And they continued speaking about all these things that they see in us. But I was kind of stuck at this point. Because 5.5 years ago, when we were in Antioch, there was a prayer, and Ricky and I heard very clearly in the prayer also that we were gonna bring the reality of the Holy Spirit as a person to this place. And we have been fighting for it ever since day one. It's been our song. Everybody who knows us knows that this is our song. Everybody who has met me knows that this is all I talk about. It takes me about 5 minutes to know how are you, and then the 6th minute I'm talking about relationship with the Holy Spirit. And so when she said that, I just thought, this is crazy. But at the same time, I knew when the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said that my grace is sufficient from you, I knew that we were going on a next level. I knew that this was another level, another step in God's calling, because now we're actually going to walk in that which God called us to walk in after 4.5 years. And that to me felt like encouragement, but also felt to me like a warning, like if He's telling me that His grace is sufficient for me, that means I need His grace that much. And, they continued talking, and in the end, they said, we want to offer you a contract. By the way, I've never had a contract with this church. I've always had the conviction to work for no money. We've made it a point that Ricky worked. There was only one time where we really couldn't cover the cost of the transport, so I had asked if they could just cover my transport. But other than that, I've never had a contract. So now they want to give me a 20% job, and with the main culture that I will be introducing is this new culture of a Holy Spirit-led worship. And on top of that, they would like me to preach to their congregation, I think once every 3 months or something like this. So when he said that His grace was sufficient for me, my mind just started running, and it's not like before where I was alone when I have an impulse or just a feeling or a vision or a thought that I can sit down with my Bible, listen to worship songs. I can't do that anymore. I just let it churn in my head and in my heart and in my soul, no matter what I'm doing. Whether I'm changing diapers, cooking dinner, cooking lunch, cleaning, working, it doesn't matter what I am doing. I am always, and I was always thinking about this, that He told me that His grace was sufficient for me, that it's going to be more than enough for me. So then that day, I actually, I think two days later or 3 days later, I actually watched a sermon where this verse also came up. And the verse actually says, "My grace is always more than enough for you, and my power finds its full expression through your weakness." So I understood, okay, let's giddy up because suffering is coming our way. And I must say, I got a little bit excited. At the same time, I was also thinking, okay, how is this gonna come? In which form is it gonna come? Because I feel and I've learned and I've seen that every time God calls you one step closer to that which He called you for, as in He pulls you in, He draws you in into the next step, the next level, the chances are that He is expecting and He is encouraging me to be more vulnerable in my weakness. Let me say that again. So I feel that when they gave me this word, that they think that the person I represent the most is the Holy Spirit, and they want this culture in the church and everything, I stepped an inch closer to the big picture that God has called me for Germany, that we have been called in Germany. I keep saying I because the contract is under my name. Not that we're going to be doing it separate. We're always doing things together. And exactly. So when He called me one step closer to that which He called me for, I understood that in this process, He's going to give me tasks, and He's going to allow suffering, and He's going to allow seasons, and He's going to use that thorn, probably, in my flesh, so that I can get more and more vulnerable. Because it is in my it is dependent on how vulnerable I am. This power that God can show off. God can only show off if I am willing to stand there vulnerable. God cannot use me if I wipe my tears in my room, come out and pretend as if everything is okay. And a week after we got this word, we had this talk, I kid you not, everything that could not work didn't work. So really, I haven't had such a insane, stressful, crazy situation, from bureaucracy to school to sickness in the house to fighting this and fighting that, and so much work. And Ricky was, I don't know how Ricky was working. I have no idea how much he was working, because it was just crazy. I barely saw him and he barely saw me, and it was crazy. But I had forgotten this word. I had forgotten that the Holy Spirit had told me that His grace was enough for me. And as I was preparing this message, it dawned upon me that He told me that He was going to be enough for me. So I am speaking to you from a point of, our finances are not great. There's lots of instability with the whole school, kindergarten situation with my kids. We don't really have much help because of the corona situation right now. I am definitely struggling to find moments to encounter God. I mean, like I said, I'm always, with Him, but to really encounter Him. And the list goes on. But I don't want to talk about the suffering itself. I want to talk about the fact that right now I'm very broken. I want to talk about the fact that I didn't really want to make this video, because I like to talk about the great things that God is doing. But the truth is, this is the great thing that God is doing. I haven't seen anybody in my family. My kids haven't seen anybody in my family in 2.5 years, and it is getting to me. And I am broken, and I am suffering, and the thorn in my flesh is tormenting me. But I want to encourage you, if you feel even anything like me right now, to hold on to the fact that His grace is sufficient and that it will see full expression through your weakness. That His power will see full expression through our weakness. And that is my hope. That is my hope in this season until I begin this new task that I've been entrusted, this bringing of the Holy Spirit forth, encouraging people to encounter God, to know Him, to see Him, to know Him like as if He is everything. And I just want to encourage you today. Turn up even when it's not pretty. And I want to encourage you to remember to be vulnerable. It's only with Christians that I feel this brother, sister, this relationship, that we can really use it to be more vulnerable, that we don't use the other person's weaknesses, but that we understand, hey, wow, in this person's weakness, I pray that God is going to come through. I pray that God is going to work through. I pray that God is going to just show off. And exactly there where this person is suffering and the thorn is hurting them. And it's a short message, but I'm very, very grateful that I get to share it with you. We are well, and it is well, and things are good because we are with God and we are with Jesus. And I just bless you today with the knowledge that no matter what comes at you, that you're allowed to be a little bit excited, because at the end of it, you're going to be somebody you don't recognize. You're going to be so much closer to that picture that God has of you. And we're so grateful to have a church like you by our side. Goodbye.